Today, we are looking at 3 signs your church might be existing for no purpose. Let me begin by asking, what if the church you attend every Sunday, the one you pour your time, your energy, and your money into, is actually accomplishing nothing of eternal value? It's a heavy question, but it's one we have to ask. In our nation today, we have thousands of churches. We have more Christian conferences, more books, and more worship music than ever before. And yet, our societies are not getting better. In many cases, they are getting worse. There is a disconnect, and I believe it's because we've lost sight of the church's true biblical purpose. In this video, I'm going to show you 3 clear signs from Scripture that reveal if a church has lost its purpose and is simply existing. My goal is not to criticize, but to restore, to help us see what God truly intended His church to be, an agent of transformation in society. Let's get into the first sign.
Sign number 1. The church is trapped in a cycle of activity. The first sign a church might be existing for no purpose is that it is trapped in a cycle of activity. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean the church's entire focus is on its internal programs and events. The success of the week is measured by how many people came to the service, how powerful the worship felt, or how many people signed up for the next midweek program. The message becomes about keeping the machine running, get people in the door, promise them instant miracles and financial breakthroughs to attract a crowd, cajole them to financially support the next building project, keep them busy with activities until they grow old, died, are buried by the church, and the cycle repeats. This is activity-based Christianity, and if you look closely, it's the model for most modern churches. But here's the problem. The purpose of the church was never to just have more services. Look at the book of Acts. The early church didn't gather just to gather. They gathered to be equipped, to be encouraged, and then to be sent out. Their gathering had a purpose that extended far beyond the walls of their meeting place. A church that exists only for its own activities is like a heart that only pumps blood to itself. It will eventually become stagnant and die. Its purpose is to pump life to the entire body. In the same way, the church's purpose is to bring the life of God's kingdom to every corner of society. If your church's calendar is full, but its impact on your community's corruption, injustice, and poverty is non-existent, that is sign number 1. Sign number 2. The church celebrates and aims for individual piety while completely ignoring societal transformation. Let me be clear. Personal holiness, personal salvation, and a personal relationship with God are essential. They are the foundation, but they are not the ultimate goal. The goal is not for you to be a righteous person living in a corrupt nation. The goal is for you to be a righteous person who helps transform that corrupt nation. God is not settling for individual piety. He is after societal piety. We see this all through Scripture. Consider national punishment. When God allowed Israel to be carried into Babylon, it wasn't because every single Israelite was rebellious. It was because the nation, led by its leaders, had rebelled. The righteousness of a few individuals like Daniel was not enough to save the nation from judgment. God's goal was the entire society. Think about national promises. We love to claim promises like Isaiah 1:19, if you are willing and obedient, you will eat the good of the land. We apply this to ourselves as individuals, but in context, this was a word to a nation. The good of the land was dependent on collective obedience. A few obedient people in a disobedient nation will not see that promise fulfilled. And the most powerful example, Jesus wailing over cities. In Matthew 11, Jesus performed mighty miracles in Chorazin, Bethsaida, and Capernaum. By today's standards, his crusade there would be considered a massive success. Thousands healed, demons cast out, a massive following. But how did Jesus respond? He wept. He wailed over those cities. Why? Because individual miracles were never the goal. Societal transformation was. He came for the entire city, and anything less was a failure in his eyes. If your church's calendar is full, but its impact on your community's corruption, injustice, and poverty is non-existent, that is sign number 2.
This brings us to the third and most critical sign. The church has fundamentally misunderstood the Great Commission. This is the root of the problem. In Matthew 28, Jesus gives his final command. He says, "Go and make disciples of all nations." For centuries, we have read this as, "Go and make individual converts from all nations." But that's not what he said. He said, "Disciple the nations." What does it mean to disciple a nation? Does it mean to fill a nation with plenty of churches? Not necessarily. Rather, to make a nation have the fear of God. Jesus clarified this in the next verse, teaching them, the nations, to obey everything I have commanded you. The mission is not to extract a few individuals out of a nation and have them come for services upon services. The mission is to change the nation itself, to teach it to obey the laws and principles of God's kingdom, to see the values of heaven reflected in its laws, its arts, its businesses, its families. This is why Jesus called his community the ecclesia, which is the Greek word for church. It wasn't a new religious word. In his day, the ecclesia was the governing assembly, the city council that made decisions for the society. Jesus said, "I will build my ecclesia," a new governing body of citizens of heaven who would bring the order of heaven to earth. He gave them the keys of the kingdom, the authority to bind and loose, to permit and prohibit on earth what is already permitted and prohibited in heaven. A church that misunderstands this will focus only on getting people to sign up for membership in church, and that's all. A church that understands its purpose will focus on making disciples, trained, mature believers who are then released into every sphere of society, into government, into education, into media, into the arts, to be agents of transformation. If your church's definition of fulfilling the Great Commission is just increasing its membership numbers and not actively working to disciple your nation, that is the clearest sign of all that it has lost its purpose. So there they are, 3 signs a church might be existing for no purpose, is trapped in a cycle of activity, it prioritizes individual piety over societal transformation, it has misunderstood the Great Commission. This is not a message of condemnation. It is a call to restoration. God's purpose for his church is clear, powerful, and achievable. It is to make the earth a protectorate of heaven, to see our nations reflect his order, his justice, and his peace. The question is, are we willing to return to that purpose? To help you process this, I've created a free resource. It's a simple 1-page PDF called the Church Impact Audit. It's a checklist with 5 key questions taken directly from Scripture that will help you evaluate your own church's alignment with its true purpose. It's not about judging your pastor, but about gaining clarity so you can be a part of the solution. You can download it for free at the first link in the description below. If this message challenged your thinking, please give this video a like and subscribe to this channel. My goal is to provide practical, biblical content to help us restore the church to its original world-transforming mission. Thank you for watching.